This is our wrist warm-up series. So before we get started, it's very important to warm up your wrists when you're doing handstands. This is because we're about to put our full body weight through them, and this is not something that we would normally do. So what I'm doing here is I'm just what we call feel the floor. So I'm just trying to move each little bone in my hand around, just nice and gentle, good way to start getting the blood flowing. Next up, we're going to do some finger push-ups. So lining the fingers up so that they're parallel with one another, protracting the shoulders, leaning forward, and then we're pushing up off that first finger, big knuckle. So from the front here, this is what it looks like, making sure we keep those shoulders protracted at all times. Next up, we've got just a few knuckle rolls. So I'm just on the big knuckles of my hands here, making a fist, rolling back and forth and trying to keep the elbows straight. This one is a favorite. So you're going to make fists, and then we want to come down, chest to your fists and elbows to the ground, trying to straighten the arms as much as you can. They may not go straight just yet. Next up, we've got some more finger push-ups, but this time with our fingers facing outwards. So the same rules apply as before. We want to go into that protraction, pushing off that first finger, big knuckle. Next up, this one here, we're going to go into full rotation, internal rotation, which I've kind of over-exaggerated there. Go as far as you can and grab into the floor. Then you're going to try to rotate your hands back the opposite direction. They shouldn't give because you should be grabbing the floor, but you should feel a nice stretch through your wrists and forearm. So there we go, we've internally rotated. Now you won't be able to see it, but I'm twisting back against the floor, always keeping protraction at the shoulders. Now we're going to do the opposite. So this time we've externally rotated our hands, getting them around as far as we can, going into protraction and then pushing back against the floor again so that you can feel the stretch on the other side of your forearm now. So these are important because our forearms do a lot of work when we are handstanding. So it's important to make sure there's sufficient blood flow to the area before we sort of get started. Next up, I'm just going to stretch out my forearms. So keeping them in that externally rotated shape, I'm going to sit back onto my heels and stretch them out.